Good morning. So I was just optimizing the vlog from yesterday. I shared a very raw and honest and vulnerable story and the overarching thing and how it's been and what the results have been in the past 6 years of my business. And today, to follow this up, I'm going to share the 5 chapters that I went through before I was able to quit my job. Let's do it. This is the map of Creatoria, at least the first version of it. Creatoria is a game that I'm developing that is a way to turn your passion into online income by playing a game. And it has 25 levels, as you can see, in 5 different chapters. So I'll explain the chapters briefly today. And basically it starts from 0, from the lonely bedroom, as you can see, to level 25, where you've quit your job and doing your business full-time as a digital nomad or whatever lifestyle you want to have. And so I'm super excited to share this into a journey. It's going to be really incredible. And yeah, today I'm going to explain the chapters and how it works, so then you can start growing your business too, if you want to, of course. First, I'm going to do a quick money mindset brain retraining and then get to my non-negotiables. The non-negotiables, by the way, you've seen me do them before, are simple business activities that move the needle forward that you have to do, or I have to do, every single day to make sure that the business keeps growing and expanding. And they are a key part to any online business. First chapter is the chapter of inner transformation, and it's a deeply foundational one that you actually come back to over and over and over again, even after you're past all the levels. Even once you've left the chapter, it is something that will be a resource to you in every area of your life. And it is about your emotions, your emotional management, how you put yourself into a better state, so then you can execute, you can have courageous, you can take action. How do you identify and overcome limiting beliefs and things that are holding you back internally? How do you align yourself with your direction, with your goals, with your vision, with your passions, and move forward from there? It is probably the most important one, because unless your internal world is aligned, your external world will be a complete chaos. So that's where we start. Chapter number 2 is where it gets exciting and we get into the strategy. And this is where we tackle the biggest problem that creatives usually have, or 2 biggest problems that creatives usually have. Problem number 1 is that they have no idea where the money's gonna come from. They are just hoping that their craft is gonna be that amazing that they just go viral and somehow the money's gonna appear. You gotta build more of a business perspective, business mindset, and find out exactly know where the money's gonna come from so that you can build it more reliably. And then number 2 is that people have too many ideas and want to focus on too many different things. So we zone in on one specific activity, one mission, and that's what we start being consistent with. That's how you will turn this into income. The meetup is about to start very soon, in about 10 minutes. But before we get into that, I want to talk about chapter 3, because in chapter 3 is really when it starts getting really exciting, right? Obviously, the game is designed that every single level, every single chapter gets more and more exciting, but also more and more difficult. So in chapter 3, it's all about starting to make the first money. You learn about sales, you learn about marketing, you learn about targeting, you learn about networking, things like that. And you start making your first sales. And that's where it starts to be a real business. That's where finally, I remember the very first time where I finally, after a while, was like, wow, like I made my first sale. Oh my gosh, I'm excited. This might actually work. And it's a big breakthrough. So that's what chapter 3 is all about.
chapter number 4 is all about creating systems and making sure that you can repeat the same process. Now that you've made your first sale, now that you've gone to market, you know your target audience, you know your product, you know your offer, now it's time to make it more repeatable and start working towards stability so that you can make it sustainable. And that's what's going to allow you to quit your job, right? It's not like we're not trying to just get lucky one time with a viral post or with one sale or something one-off. No, we're trying to build something repeatable, a system, a strategy, a framework that will help you do this continuously. And using that, you'll build up a big bank, a momentum, and a runway, so that when you quit your job, you have a runway to make it work fully.
Finally, we arrive to chapter 5. This is where you start building your freedom blueprint. And by the end of it, you will have put in your resignation and started working towards being a full-time entrepreneur. Maybe you even booked your one-way ticket. And that's the end of the chapter 5 of Creatoria. Now you've started from scratch and ended all the way as a full-time self-employed digital nomad. I'm super excited for people to play this game, super excited for people to get in the game and start doing what needs to get done and in a very simplified way. I'm also going to work on the rewards and the prizes that people can win by playing this game and by leveling up. And of course, there will be Creatoria 2 or some new other game that will have a different name, that will have another 25 levels beyond. Okay, now I'm a full-time self-employed entrepreneur. What next? What do I do next? Right? That's the question. So after this game is finished and after a bunch of people have completed it, we're gonna start building the next one. And I'm super excited for this. I think it's something different, something new, something I've never done before. And it will definitely be an amazing way to help fellow creatives, fellow entrepreneurs get into the game and hopefully even stay consistent and make it out. Because I think the number one reason why people fail is because they give up, they stop being consistent, and they stop iterating, right? And they stop too short. They stop 2 inches away from the diamonds. If you've ever seen the photo of the guy mining, looking for gold and diamonds, and finally when he decides to give up, when he decides to turn around, right behind that little sliver, but right here behind that little wall is when the diamonds are. So don't stop yourself short. Come and play the game. If you want more information, you'll find it in the description, or you can also send me a message on Instagram where I can tell you more about the Creatoria game, how you can be a part of it, how you can play, and how you can use this to turn your passions into income and into business as well. And that's a wrap for today. I'm just going to finish editing some of the videos, finish editing the vlog. I also recorded yesterday and today I recorded the first few videos for the Creatoria game, the lessons, and I'm also working on the worksheets and the checklists and all the details and frameworks and all of that as well here on the back end, as you can see. And so I'm super excited for this. And yeah, let's keep it rolling. Today has been a really awesome day so far. I'm gonna finish strong. And tomorrow we are kicking it off with an amazing call with an amazing human being that I met very recently. And we're gonna talk about networking. We're gonna talk about social health. And then later on, of course, we have the Academy of Creatives Sunday meeting. On a side note, I also made a lot of progress today on my own social health coaching business, and a bunch of progress. I updated all of my internal documents of the processes, and I have other things that I'm going to work on as well. So super excited for that. Stay tuned if you want to learn more about the back end of the social health business. I also, alongside the Creatoria and the Academy of Creatives, let me know.